Very pleased to be interviewing Chen, who's co-founder of Cooperatize. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
So let's start with your background. How did you get to where you are today?
Sure. I started at Google actually right out of college. I was a financial analyst for 3 years, hated it, and then moved into advertising. Did ad sales, TV ad sales for 2 years, up until later 2012, at which time they shut down the product. And so I decided to venture out on my own. Started networking with people and eventually met my co-founder, and we started Cooperatize together. And we just wanted to change the way advertising is done in the advertising industry.
Tell me about Cooperatize.
Cooperatize is a marketplace connecting brands with bloggers. The main ad unit, I guess you could say, that we try to transact is the sponsored blog post or sponsored story. Our technology essentially connects brands and agencies with the bloggers that are in line with their target audience or target market. And we just facilitate the entire process of writing a sponsored blog post on the bloggers. And we work with over 4,000 bloggers in the lifestyle, luxury, and travel space.
So by that, do you mean branded advertising or native advertising?
Absolutely, there's many different words for this type of advertising. Branded content seems to be the soup du jour in terms of the term. However, it's also under the bigger umbrella of native advertising, where the advertising looks and feels like the rest of the content in which it's placed.
Do you find a way to inform the reader that this is native advertising?
Yeah, so most of the bloggers have already written sponsored content before, so they put a very simple disclosure at the bottom or the top of their stories saying that this story was paid for or brought to the audience by a brand that they're working with, which we facilitate.
And how do you measure the impact for an advertiser?
We ask the bloggers all to put a code snippet in HTML on the individual stories, and we can track the typical online metrics, page views, unique visitors, clicks. Additionally, we wrote some technology to track how long individual readers are scrolling through the story, so we can actually see what kind of stories engage the most in terms of this person finished half the story, this other person took 5 minutes to finish 3/4 of the story. And so we can really see how engaged a given reader is for different types of stories.
So Al, do you have any research results that you can share?
Sure. So after analyzing over 175 sponsored stories over the last 4 months, we found out that local events actually are the most engaging type of stories. When bloggers write about local events in their cities, usually major metropolitan cities like New York, Chicago, LA, those tend to get the most reading time from readers. 2 other verticals that are really big for us are fashion and food-related blogs. And additionally, we found that Taiwanese and Chinese readers spend the most time reading the stories out of any other country in the world.
Essentially, this has global reach.
That's correct, yeah. So most of the bloggers are based in the US and the UK. However, anyone can open up a blog and read the stories in the blog. And we are able to track down to the city level where the readers are coming from for individual stories.
How do you locate quality blog writers?
There are also platforms for that have come out. Cision and Vocus is obviously the big one in the PR space. For our company, we really just rely on word of mouth. Once we've worked with a few high quality bloggers and writers, they tend to just refer us to their friends who are also kind of in the blogging space. And it's a very kind of word of mouth referral type of system. Sometimes we seek them out and we find them really just from Googling good bloggers and quality bloggers. But for the most part, most of the bloggers that we work with are just kind of word of mouth referrals.
There is some controversy associated with native advertising in that it's not really pure content. Have you had any reaction from the user of the site? Anything that might have indicated to you that people understand the difference between native and non-native advertising?
Yes, we actually have not received any negative feedback. Most of these bloggers write from an individual first-person perspective, and they're very clear when they tell their readers that this is a sponsored piece or branded piece. And from reading the comments left by the readers in the story, we can tell that they generally enjoy the content and they don't find it interruptive or just kind of out of place. They see it as just another story written by the individual blogger, and they see it as just another piece of content that they can consume and enjoy and find useful however they want.